Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Mount Scott Community Center Stairwell Wall and Main Lobby Artwork Opportunity Info Session and the recording of it. My name is Salvador. I use he, him pronouns. I am the Regional Arts and Cultural Council Project Manager, and I want to introduce my colleague and also collaborator on this project who will be sharing this time with us. Robin, welcome.
Hi, thank you, Salvador. Hello, everybody. My name is Robin Laughlin. I have she, her pronouns. I'm a capital renovation program manager at Portland Parks and Recreation. I'm looking forward to seeing all of your wonderful work that can come out of this opportunity. So thanks for joining us today.
Thanks, Robin. Well, what we're going to do for you all is take you through a presentation that we've created. And so I'm going to bring that up right now. Okay. So hopefully everyone is seeing this on their screens. And okay. So before we get into the meat of this, I wanted just to talk about the overall agenda of how we're going to spend the recording together. We've introduced ourselves, Robin and I, and I'll talk a little bit about accessibility, a little bit about RAC. Then we're going to talk about the actual Mount Scott Community Center project. Robin will be actually sharing a lot of those details with us. We will also talk about the actual artwork opportunity itself, the goals, just information around that. We will also talk about eligibility, the portal, the application portal that some of you have already started, hopefully, and others will start to apply, and then the selection process timeline. And I have Q&A here because I'm so used to doing these things live. This is a recording, so there won't be any Q&A unless it's Q&A between Robin and I, but maybe we'll have that as well. And I should also say too, if folks, after seeing this recording, have any questions, we will be putting in at the very end contact info for myself. You can reach out. And yes, more than happy to answer questions for folks that are interested. So. Okay, so let's talk about accessibility and assistance. Hopefully, as you're watching this recording, you are seeing closed captioning at the bottom of the screen there. But we also offer accessibility services in other ways too. If you need any technical assistance navigating the application portal or just kind of putting your application pieces together, feel free to reach out. If you need translation of services, we have that. We have those services. We can offer that. If you need the call in large print materials or maybe different formats, let us know. We can also help provide that. Any interpretation services that you need. And then, of course, if there's any accommodations for folks with disability, we also will try to meet those needs as well. So Regional Arts and Culture Council, also known as RAC. What do we do? Well, we've been we are a nonprofit, and we were established in 1995. So we've been around almost 30 years. And we handle the arts investments on behalf of the city of Portland and Multnomah County. Historically, what we have done in that area is award grants out to individual artists, arts organizations. We also do public art, which is funded through a Percent for Art ordinance, which is what this project will fall under. We have done arts education services, as well as do a lot of advocacy with a lot of our regional and state and as well national government partners. And of course, we also do a number of other things like offer professional development workshops, convene forums around arts topics. We do a lot. This is basically just another summary of all the things that I just said. At the bottom there, you can see where to find us online, as well as our very active and robust Instagram account. So public art, this is where this project will fall under. As I said, the program is primarily supported through the Percent for Art Ordinance, which means that for the city of Portland and Multnomah County, 2% of capital construction buildings go towards artwork. And that's what's happening for Mount Scott Community Center. And so with that, it allows us to do all sorts of types of art, which means permanent architecturally integrated artworks. It allows us to do temporary art. It allows us to do purchase of 2D portable works. It allows us to also do murals. We have a robust murals program. And then other things that are tendentially connected to that, artists in residence programs. Uh, what's the other thing I was thinking of here? And a lot of work just in terms of community engagement and working with our community partners throughout City of Portland and in the larger metro region. So this is Mount Scott Community Center, and I'm gonna
Mhm.
turn this over to Robin to talk more about the actual building and project itself.
Great, thank you, Salvador. Um, Salvador introduced the slide as this is Mount Scott Community Center. um, in 2025. Right now, if you go out to Mount Scott Community Center, you'll see it's an active construction site. It's a project we are so excited about. This project is located in Southeast Portland, and we've got at just it trying again. Located in Southeast Portland at Southeast 72nd and Southeast Harold Street. This is a site of originally was an outdoor pool. If you go to the center today, you'll see a parking lot. That parking lot used to be a pool. And now we've got a lovely indoor swimming pool and the older parts of the building, which were mostly at the north end of the fifth community center, is what we're replacing. So the center previously and in the future will be offering a gym, a pool, a roller skating rink in the basement. We'll have exercise and fitness classes, preschool programs, and day camps, and art and music classes, as you can read on the screen, teen activities, and private parties and community gatherings. It's a long list of opportunities for gathering and connection that are going to be available at this new center. Our old center dates from, pieces of the building were from 1950, 1970, the 1920s as well, and connecting to a more recent renovation that was made towards I like to say the end of the last century in 1990. So those older bits are moving away towards the left side of your screen. And so what you can see on your screen here today is what the vision is for the new facility. Lots of new light, lots of new connection spaces, and a lot more plantings out front on 72nd Avenue. I think it's important to note about the heartbeat of this community center. As noted on the slide at the bottom, this is serving the entire southeast area west of 82nd Avenue. The next closest community center is going to be quite a far away, and there's a lot of support for this community center. A lot of neighbors come here, and we're located in a neighborhood that has a lot of neighbors that are BIPOC. They have a high number of households here with children, and higher than average, higher than the Portland average for folks living with in poverty or with low income. So the ability to access places where you can connect with your neighbors, do good work for you, for your body and your spirit and your connection. That's what these community centers are all about. So again, the construction began in January of this year of 2024, and we should be completing it about summer of 2025. Some of the renovations we're going to show you in the next slides are going to bring more light to the interior spaces. We're going to have much better ADA accessibility. We're going to have a new elevator that's going to go all the way down to the basement to serve the roller rink, and all the way to the second floor, the new second floor. We're going to have expanded areas for fitness classes and some other opportunities up there for education spaces and preschool opportunities. I do want to mention before we move on to the next slide, if you see on the far left of this slide, that big box on the left, that is the new kind of community room And this is the space that's going to be available for weddings, potlucks and picnics and family gatherings. So that'll be a nice rental space for our community.
Thanks, Robin. Okay, so I'm gonna move us to the other slides and feel free, yeah, to just elaborate on what we're seeing.
Yeah, thank you. Starting on the far left is the basement area of the renovations that we're doing. We're going to be making near that red bar. That's where the new elevator is going to be. And there's an opportunity there potentially. This is a big stairwell area behind the elevator that we could bring some really tall 2D art on that wall that you'll see in the next slides. The first floor that you see in the center, those drawings, at the very bottom of that drawing, that's where the existing pool is. If you get out on site, you'll be able to take a look at that. And there's an existing gymnasium and some locker rooms. And then everything on that slide towards the top that's in color, that's all the new areas of new community centers. So here you're seeing a big long hallway. There's various rooms for fitness and for meeting and for preschool events. And again, that red bar is showing that big center stairwell where we have a lovely opportunity for 2D art right near the lobby. And then moving up to the second floor, that stairwell does go all the way up to that second floor where there's additional spaces for meeting and exercise rooms. And that's that top floor of that big wall that's adjacent to the stairwell. Yeah. And then here is the stairwell. I do want to make a note though that the green misty mountains you see on the back, that's just a placeholder. I want to see folks using all of your imagination and creative juices, but that's just a placeholder to show community what things might look like. I mean, but this is the new lobby. We're going to have lots of more natural light, places for gathering before your classes, places to meet up with people. And then in that back corner, that's the check-in desk. So if you come in to use the community center, that's where you'll be checking in. So it's just a nice, lots of traffic, lots of eyes on the art here at this location. Yeah, thank you. And then here's just some images. These are renderings from our design team, FFA Architecture, showing the interior of the building. On the upper left, that's going to be our new fitness center. 2 levels there you can see, and again, lots of natural light. On the right-hand side is an example of what the aerobic studio might look like. Again, you can see all these lovely images, lots of good light. And then the bottom 2 images are showing what the upper second floor stairwells are going to look like. And so you can see there's some opportunities there to put art on the walls or potentially hang things from the ceilings, gathering up some of the lights from the skylight. And then in the lower right-hand corner, just want to show you you can see a little bit of a skylight towards the top of the image, and that is open to the lobby below. So there's a couple of big spots there that are they're pretty exciting to look at.
Yeah. Thanks for sharing that, Robin. So for folks that are, just so you know, this right here is what's going to connect the stairwell on the second floor that goes down to the first. So that's what this sort of area is at. And so that leads us to the actual opportunity itself. And Robin, feel free to chime in at any point here. So this, as Robin had pointed out, this is actually part of a larger art plan. Because there are going to be more opportunities beyond this opportunity to have art in the building. And for us, we want to make sure that the most public zones of the building are being they're having artwork there. This would include also those first and second floor corridors that Robin had pointed out. So just know if there's interest in this project, but maybe this opportunity is not the one that folks want or is resonating with them or feel like they want to apply for, but they still want to be part of this project, there will be more opportunities to apply to have your artwork in this building. So that is something that would be coming later this year. I just want to put that out there. But for this opportunity here, this is really, we're focusing on that first and second floor stairwell. And so as Robin had pointed out, this is just a placeholder as a way to identify the site. But please think of it we're thinking of it as a blank canvas. We're really waiting to see what artists can imagine what is there. So this is pretty much one of the most visible places in the building. It is in the main lobby. As Robin had pointed out, it's across also from the lobby seating area where there will be a lot of gathering happening. It's also adjacent to the reception desk, the information area, and it's also right by these entryways and exits through the building. So there will be a lot of traffic on at this in this particular section. And so part of what we're looking for is artwork that's going to create a sense of space that is going to be also welcoming, because this is truly one of the first things people will see when they come into the building. And also something that I think aligns with a lot of uh, the the characteristics of what's happening in the building. And so by that, what I mean is we know that there's already a lot of, in the architectural renderings and design, nods to nature. That's really important. And so what does it mean to have things that are organic, things that also feel natural materiality, natural colors. Again, wanting to complement already what is happening as part of the overall design of the building. We are interested in artwork that connects to either contemporary or traditional art making practices that I think is really important. As Robin had pointed out too, as part of the welcoming, because this is a very diverse area that a lot of diverse communities utilize this space. It's wild when I visited how many types of people are in there. We also want artwork that's going to really be something that is accessible, broad, but also connecting. Um, and so, and I would also say in it, as part of that too, think about artwork too that might stimulate and engage the senses. So those are the kinds of things that we are hoping will be part of what the artwork will ultimately become. So in terms of the dimensions, we're looking at that stairwell wall, particularly on the first and second floor, 19 feet wide by 28 feet high. As Robin had pointed out, it does actually go to the basement, and there is, and I think we're open to having the conversation of if the artists are interested in having the artwork descend to the basement area, what that might look like. But I think because there's such prominence and focus in terms of activity on the first and second, that's sort of what we're um, honing in on. But again, open to the idea of something that goes on all three floors. So, yeah.
Yeah, hey, I just wanted to point out as I'm looking at this image, just so folks understand, you see in the photo there's a person, an adult squatting down with a small child. In front of them is a wood screen. So that wood screen is going to be built as part of the construction. Just wanted to make that clear for folks that that the artwork will be behind a screen from the lobby for that lower bit, but it will be not screened when you're like on the stairwell. So there's just a little bit of three-dimensional nature here that just wanted to point that out. Yeah.
Thanks, Robin. That's really great. The other thing, actually, let me go to the next slide here because this also I think
Yeah.
helps to um elaborate what you're saying. The other thing too is that the stairwell wall, as you can see here, we're thinking this primarily will be a 2D artwork. However, as to keep things interesting, we're also entertaining and open to the idea of 3D components that might be on the actual wall itself. And so what we're thinking in terms of just materiality, that could be things like textiles and fabric arts, maybe has like ceramic moment or mosaics. It could also be something that has like metal or even wood. So like there are there are there's an openness to have some kind of 3D relief like moment in
Mhm.
the piece if that's something the artist is interested. I'll also say too, because um, this is going to be a really robust area in terms of its usage. And so one thing that we are thinking about is durability, longevity. And so, we're also thinking that it might be uh, helpful, and especially in thinking about it in the long-term sense of maintenance, that the artwork is on another substrate beyond the actual stairwell wall. So something that might get either mounted, or like I said, have these kinds of relief elements that are part of it. And so that could include some kind of paneling of some sort. And maybe it's paneling with a combination of painting directly on the wall. Those are things that we are open to, and ultimately would have a conversation with the selected artist to, with the project team, identify what's the best ultimately materiality and like realized artwork for the site. So just, know that it's not these things are possible and they are something that we're open to, but again, through a conversation for sure. Um, the other thing too that I want to point out is that there is an opportunity to extend beyond that stairwell wall for maybe 3D artwork that is hanging potentially. And so you'll notice here at the top, we have this orange kind of section, and we have this other orange section over here adjacent to the reception desk and towards that entry exit on the east side of the building. Those are two areas where the artwork could extend to. And I just want to go back to the other side because I have the measurements there. We're looking at 15 feet wide by 15 feet high approximations of what those two spaces will be. And so that's another place in which the artists or artist team can expand their vision in terms of, really kind of, again, creating a sense of presence in the space. We've been thinking about it, we're open to it. So no, that's also an option too. Is there anything else, Robin, that I may have missed just around the actual opportunity itself?
No, I think you covered it. And I hope that folks can appreciate that the volume of this space is going to be quite lovely. I think it's going to be very, like you mentioned, Salvador. It's a lot of folks coming through here, a lot of light, a lot of natural materials. Very very welcoming. That those three key elements are what we've heard from community about what they're interested in having in their community center, that light, that volume, that welcoming feeling. So that's perfect. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Well, then we'll talk about eligibility. So I just want to say first and foremost, we are RAC, and I know also the city of Portland is always committed into engaging new communities of artists and expanding
Mhm.
the range of artistic and cultural expression represented in the city's public art collection. Because we also know that this is a very diverse area, we welcome folks that reflect those communities and identities to apply. Um,
Mhm.
we are looking at artists and artist teams from Oregon and Southwest Washington. I just said Southwest Washington. Um, we are
Yeah.
also,
Mm.
it's the morning. We're also looking for artists who have experience with community engagement. That is going to be a
Mhm.
big piece of this project too, as part of the
Mhm.
design phase. So artists who have experience working with youth, artists who have experience working with residents from historically underrepresented communities. And this
Mhm.
includes obviously
Yeah.
BIPOC and immigrant and refugees communities. That is another uh, yeah, eligibility criteria that we are looking for in the application. The budget for this project is around 80,000. And that would include all expenses, including design. That would include the fabrication, install, community engagement. So the whole thing. So the portal, and how do you apply for this opportunity? So we are looking for applications to be submitted on the RAC opportunity portal. It is something that you can find in the call. We have links to it. We are looking for first and foremost images. I can't underestimate how important that is when a panel of community members, which we have for this project, are going to be reviewing applications. It is something that really matters. It's the work and the quality of how we see your work matters. So we are looking for 8 images of past work samples. And we do have, I should say, for each area, each um, section, you have up to 2 images per the 8 to upload. And so think about again the quality. Think about artwork that you think might be relevant to this site. Think about work that best demonstrates your voice and style. Um, and I think in that descriptions are helpful. So if you want to make sure, we understand what we're seeing, we have that conceptual information slot. Feel free to use it. It is anything to help us understand and grasp what you are doing in your practice is really helpful. The statement of interest, that's the other thing too that we have. I like to say that this is the first, it's like almost like first impressions. This is the first impression that the panel is going to have of you. So make it a good one. And as part of that, we have some questions. We have actually very specific questions that we'd like for you to respond to. So part of that is explaining what is your interest in this project? Do you have ties or connections to that area? Have you utilized Mount Scott Community Center? Do you enjoy using community centers? Just why is this relevant for you, basically? Describe your capacity and or experience to complete the scope of work. If you are an artist who have done projects at similar scales, share those projects with us. I think that's really helpful. If you're an artist that doesn't have experience working at this scale, but wants to work at this scale, then show us how you've been able to accomplish and execute other projects and how that might be relevant, that experience might be relevant to this project. That's going to be really helpful for the panel to know and see your capacity to do this. And then the other thing too is explain why you value community engagement. Why is it important in your artistic practice? And also, how have you been able to do that in past projects? Especially if you're trying to incorporate community visions or values or voices. Though sharing an example of that, that would be really helpful. It just lets us know the value of that work and also why you think you'd be a great fit for this project. And then the last thing I want to say too is if you're playing as a team, please describe your individual roles on the team and how you anticipate working together. So if you're a collaborative team who work together, great, share that with us and how that collaboration has worked in the past. If you are a new team coming together specifically for this project but have not collaborated before, I think it's also helpful to show us how you anticipate working together. What is it about this collaboration that you think is going to go very well? And how do you think that's appropriate for this project?
Ah,
Um, and then the last thing I just want to have here, and I don't have it on the slide, but I just remembered it is part of the criteria. So I don't want to forget it. We are asking for bios and resumes. So please upload a PDF of no more than 2 pages that outlines your creative activities, artistic accomplishments. And if you're applying as a team, submit only one PDF that includes these things and make sure that it's no more than 6 pages. As you can imagine, the panel is going to have a lot of applications to read, so we just want to make sure that the materials are not um, too long for them. And let's see. I want to just share with you all. This is if you've never applied to our RAC opportunity portal before. This is what the page looks like. And again, you can reach out to myself. You can reach out to other folks. We do have an assistance information line there, and we can help
Mhm.
you navigate that. So the deadline for to get all these materials in is coming up. It's actually in 2 weeks. It's on April 24th by 11:59 p.m. Here we have the link to the portal. I know it's around the corner.
It is just before midnight.
Yeah, exactly. We know sometimes folks wait to the last minute, which is why I have here, besides asking lots of questions, please don't wait to the last minute to apply. Try to start that application earlier, especially because you never know what you're going to run into, I think, when you're applying.
Mhm.
And maybe you need some time to ask questions. So give yourself that time to ask questions. Or maybe you need some more time than you thought to prepare. Then give yourself that time to prepare. And then the other thing too, if there's any kind of barriers for folks as you're encountering submitting your application, just let us know and we'll do our best to help you navigate that. So in the selection process, there will be a panel of artists. I say county because that's another regional entity that we work with, but in this case, city representatives and project team members that will be part of this, including folks like Robin. And so they will be looking at applications, and then based on your ability to demonstrate originality of vision, the how you're relating to the key concepts, and again the work's overall suitability for public display, those are the things that they're going to be taking into account. And again,
Mhm.
statement of interest and images, they breathe life into your application, so make sure you can make that as clear and as
Mhm.
honest also and reflective of your work as possible.
Yeah, and I'm glad you mentioned that, Salvador. That for me as a reviewer, that is such a fantastic tip. I having it, I know it's challenging when you know your own work and you know your own heart, and then to express that, it really does resonate with reviewers, and just to be able to get that connection. It's difficult on paper. I can appreciate that, but having that breathing life into that application is really important. It really helps folks understand a bit deeper about things. Um, so thanks for bringing that up for folks. I appreciate that.
And I appreciate, Robin, there's just like it's really helpful to hear as someone who does review what they're looking for. And so
Mhm.
that's great to just bring that point home again. Um, and so here's the process timeline that we have. So the deadline that's coming up is the 24th of April. And then after that, the panel will start reviewing applications. And we're going to go through a couple of rounds of that. And all that will be leading us to um, ultimately doing interviews of semifinalists, which will happen in the June timeline. And then we'll have an artist selected. And so we're aiming for July, the artist will be brought on board or artist team, and they will begin what we're calling the design phase. So this will be for them to meet the project team, folks like Robin. It will also mean them to begin having the conversations of what's possible in that space. We will be helping them also facilitate what that community engagement might look like in the area. And then ultimately giving the artists time to work on the design, and then present that design back to the panel. And so we're looking for all of that to happen in that July, September period. Um, and ultimately getting us ready for putting the artists into fabrication, I would say by the fall. And so once we move into that October timeline, you have until June. We're really looking for the artists to be working on their project. And then install, we are looking for it by July of next year. And so these are just the overall kind of pace. Again, one of the things that we're going to be looking for interested applicants is their ability to also demonstrate capacity to follow the timeline. So think about that. And then here's our last slide about just let's talk. Again, if you have any questions, this is my email. I am helping running the rack side of this. So I'm the point of contact and I can help you navigate both the materials as well as just learning more about the overall opportunity if you have additional questions. Um, Robin, I think we've come to the end.
Yeah.
But I wanted to honor here, I'm going to stop sharing. Just if we have any additional questions or thoughts that we want to share with folks before we end the recording?
Yeah, I have a question.
Yeah.
You and RAC are providing so much wonderful technical help, especially for first-time applicants. Um, do you have, I know we're due in 2 weeks. Could you share a little bit about when you're best available to contact? And like, is there a recommendation like, oh, contact me tomorrow or at least 3 days prior or anything like that that you could share with folks?
That's great. Yeah, no, I really appreciate that. I mean, ideally, it would be, I'm, well, I should say I'm pretty much available anytime between usual office hours, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. during the week. And then the other thing I would say too, is that if you have questions, just to give us a little time to respond, because sometimes, right, we've got other things going on. I would say at least letting us have 1 to 2 days to respond would be great. Because we also know that this is right around the corner, we're doing our best also to make those prompt. So to get back to you as soon as we can. But yeah, I mean, ideally, Wednesday I know is the day of the 24th. I mean, it's totally fine to send questions the day of the 24th, but ideally if you can do that before, so you have that time to like use the Wednesday final day to actually work on it after having your questions answered, I would suggest that's best. So yeah, letting us know at least before the 24th, that would be great.
Great, thanks.
That's a
And
great
I know
question.
since I work for Portland Parks, you might be able to find my name or phone number or my email address out there on the internets, but I can't help you. I would love to, but I can't. So don't call me. Be sure to call Salvatore. But yeah, you're the guy. You're the one. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to seeing what everybody has. This has been a long time coming. We've been working on this project for gosh, almost 6 years now, and have been able to cobble together a lot of wonderful funding opportunities to make this happen. So I'm really excited to be at this part. So welcome. If you're thinking, I don't know if I should do it or not, please do. It's always great to see new work out there. So thank you for joining us. Yeah, and thanks for having me, Salvador. I appreciate it.
Thanks, Robin. Thanks so much for sharing all that. Well, thank you all for joining Robin and I today. And hopefully this was really helpful for you. And again, we're available. So feel free to reach out. And I'm wishing you all best of luck. Bye.